So 2023 really spoiled us with its insanely packed release schedule, but next year is going to completely blow everyone away. From some of the most anticipated sequels all the way to amazing brand new franchises, today we're gonna take a look at the top biggest role-playing games coming out in 2024. But take your gaming anywhere with the brand new Rokid Max AR glasses and enjoy the power of alternate reality comfortably right in front of your eyes. Also, massive thanks to the Rokid team for sponsoring this video. Whether you like playing the latest video games or stream your favorite movies, you can do it seamlessly from the comfort of your home or even when out traveling. It's almost like having an on-the-go 360-inch cinema with you at all times, but it's super lightweight, so you never have to worry about headaches or neck pains from prolonged usage. On top of that, the Rokid Max AR glasses also lets you connect to pretty much any gaming console. From the PlayStation 5, Xbox, even Steam Deck or Nintendo Switch are an option, all the way to mirroring the screen of your iPhone 15 for some extra productivity. Plus, its 1080p 120Hz micro OLED display lets you enjoy a smooth and vibrant experience at any time. Rokid also sells the AR Joy Pack, which includes both the AR glasses and the Rokid Station. This way you can access anything on Google Play, including Android TV. You should totally check out the heavily discounted Black Friday event too, starting November 20th, in which you can grab all of these devices much cheaper, $299 for the Rokid Max AR glasses and $449 for the entire Joy Pack. So make sure you check out the Rokid lineup by following the links below, and I'll give another big thanks to the team for sponsoring this video. But starting early 2024, February kicks off with 3 massive launches, beginning with Granblue Fantasy Relink. Originally developed for the PlayStation 4, the game is set to launch on February 1st on the PC, PS5 and PS4, acting as a more ambitious spin-off to the Granblue Fantasy previous entries. This includes both a brand new story, characters, as well as a unique new setting in a place called the Sky Realm. And if you're into party-driven combat systems, flashy animations, and an anime aesthetic, this is going to be right up your alley. You'll get to play with up to 4 companions, either via multiplayer co-op or solo with the game's AI. But despite featuring a large, vibrant game world, this won't be a truly open-world game. However, it will provide a lot of beefy content that can take up to 100 hours to fully finish on the highest difficulty. Around 25 of those are going to be just for the main story, with over 100 plus quests opening up just in the post-endgame content. Plus, lots more to uncover, up to 17 allies to unlock via playing, all with their own unique skills and abilities. Granblue Fantasy Relink also features exploration, power levels, and gear upgrades, so expect to sink lots and lots of hours in it. At number 2, we have Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, Rocksteady's first gamble with a live service, launching on February 2nd. Now, live service games kinda have a tendency to suck and eventually also get abandoned on a number of occasions. However, I'm still cautiously optimistic about the studio's ability to create a compelling narrative and fun gameplay. I mean, they did it back to back with 3 bad games back in the days. Now, the premise also sounds rather interesting. We have almost all of the biggest members of the Justice League under the mind control of Brainiac, who has begun also invading Earth and almost completely destroying Metropolis. And the only force to stand against these demigods is this ragtag team of former inmates from Arkham Asylum, better known as the Suicide Squad. But besides this, obviously, it also features many recognizable live service elements, including character skins, battle passes, seasonal content releases, and online co-op, though Rocksteady assures everyone the game can also be played solo. Now, there's also the ever-present loot, each character having their own unique weaponry, gear, and accessories with different rarities and effects to boost your effective power, so by all means it looks exactly like every live service game, which raised quite a few concerns from fans, but characters also have their own unique abilities and traversal mechanics to make them feel unique. However, it depends how Rocksteady handles the launch day. At number 3, a game I have absolutely no doubt will blow everyone away is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the highly anticipated second part of the trilogy following the remake back in 2020. This is set to launch on February 29th. And just like before, the game combines real-time action with strategic roleplay elements, which I absolutely adored and found to be the perfect system for me from any recent Final Fantasy games. Now, the story takes place right after the events of its predecessor, from the moment Cloud and his Avalanche friends leave Midgar all the way to the Forgotten Capital chapter. However, However, it's likely again to change some things from the original 97 release. But everything is on a much better scale than ever before. During the Summer Game Fest, we got a ton of new gameplay and see how much the game has evolved. So we have these much larger environments, way bigger to play into, more open than ever before, plus way more ways to navigate them. There are tons of mounts and vehicles this time around, from our golden feathery chocobo friends to all-wheel buggies, electric scooters, and yes, flying mounts as well. The battle system also gets massive improvements too, and a brand new mechanic called Synergy Moves. So this will let you combine your special attacks with another party members and pull off some devastating team combos by using both of their ATB gauges. But there are lots of new abilities added for every single party member, which sounds very exciting. Besides this, all original Avalanche members and the ones from the Yuffie DLC are playable in the sequel, and there's at least a few more confirmed playable characters on top, including Red 13, which we of course liberated at the end of the previous game, and none other than Sephiroth. And yeah, possibly others that might join later, maybe even Vincent Valentine, but we shall wait and see. But it's not stopping here. March follows up with Dragon's Dogma 2 on the 22nd, and a direct sequel from the first game more than a decade ago. But building up on what made the first so great, Dragon's Dogma 2 will bring back recognizable features as well as a ton of new ones. Being set in the same universe, the story brings us to a different land of vermin, as well as maybe a second region that I don't think was announced yet, with its own politics and architectural style, but also returning monsters, magic powers, armor, items, and so on. One of the biggest changes is to vocations, aka classes, including both new and redesigned ones. For example, while we still have fighter, mage, warrior, and sorcerer, strider no longer exists, and instead it has been split into two separate classes, one an archer focusing on bows, and also a thief that focuses on daggers. Plus, thief also gets an extra green classification on top. But Dragon's Dogma 2 brings some new playable humanoid races, including the Beastren, and gameplay-wise, things have also changed quite a bit. This includes special new dodge moves for all classes, including dashes that will work differently for each class, more core skills for all of them, auto-targeting whenever you use, for example, bow and arrow, and a better management of equipment, weapon skills when you use different weapons with you. But Capcom really learned a lot from its other games and Dragon's Dogma Online, which is why many of the features in those games will also make their way in this one, including, for example, affecting the environment way more with your abilities, such as destroying dams to unleash floods and damage areas or enemies in your path. Now, I'm not sure about you, but after Jedi Survivor at number 5, I'm eager for even more open-world Star Wars games, while Outlaws seems to scratch that itch, but in a unique way. However, its launch date is still iffy, with Ubisoft previously announcing their decision to move one of their larger games to fiscal year 2024-25. Given how Skull and Bones and a couple more are kinda definitive for this fiscal year, this only leaves Star Wars Outlaws as a possible candidate, so a probable launch postponed for later on in 2024 or even early 2025 might be possible. Still keeping hopes high, but a full open-world Ubisoft third-person game in the Star Wars franchise sounds very interesting to me, especially considering their newest kind of leaps in the way they handle open-world games, which we've also seen with the Avatar game and should see more of once it launches on December 7th. But the game is set to feature several planets, including returning fan favorites such as Tatooine, but also completely new ones created over at Massive Entertainment. Taking place between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, we'll get to play as Kay Vess, a scoundrel who's trying to survive in the galactic underworld against the backdrop of the Empire. Saying this game is open world would put it mildly. We saw from the gameplay that we can jump on the speeder and pretty much visit locations, towns, and other cool areas. There's also a wanted system, GTA style, but with a few twists, but my favorite by far has to be ship piloting and ship dogfighting, especially in outer space. Does this make it the most complete Star Wars game we had in a while? Well, I'm not sure, but it definitely seems to give us a lot of ways to just have fun in this universe. But speaking of Ubisoft and postponing stuff, no other game has gained more notoriety in that than Skull and Bones, possibly the most killed, revived, and delayed game in existence. However, all signs seem to indicate it's definitely launching this time around in early 2024 by March at the very latest. This has been confirmed both during the last Ubisoft earnings call as well as through recent channels including Ubisoft Singapore. While technically more of an action-adventure, the game builds on that beloved ship combat system in Black Flag, but with a lot more strategic elements to become your own pirate. Set in the 17th century at the peak of the historical golden age of piracy, you'll get to create and customize your own pirate character, command your own ship, and have your own crew of lowlifes with you as you commit illegal acts of property requisition throughout the Indian Ocean. But by all means, it seems to be an interesting game, and this is supposed to come out on both PC as well as current gen consoles. Now the next one is technically not a new game, but knowing from software the amount of content in it might as well just make it one. So this is Shadow of the Erdtree, the highly anticipated expansion to the mega successful Elden Ring. So far, not even a trailer, only a picture announced by From Software on their Twitter page, but it's likely that we'll see the first ever gameplay footage this year at the Game Awards, and possibly follow up with a release around April, maybe, if that's the best case scenario. But besides a new story and likely new bosses, Shadow of the Erdtree is likely to continue the story from where it was left off in the base game. We still have Michaela left, Melania's twin brother, and, well, the most powerful demigod of all, and the only one whose shard we could not get because he was obviously not available. Now this might or might not have an effect on the story endings as well if we defeat him, assuming he appears, and possibly unlock even new ones. However, rumors are unverified and leaks are quite sparse. Now there were, however, some interesting mechanics data mined in the past, including one that lets players invade the dreams of certain characters. However, that seems to have been cut before the release of the base game. Whichever direction it goes into, Elden Ring will surely not disappoint. But while we're on this genre, Souls-like games will be quite abundant in 2024, Black Myth Wukong setting to launch in summer 2024 being the best example. It's launching on PC as well as current and last-gen consoles, so it looks extremely promising. But the first is because it explores Chinese mythology, which we haven't seen many games doing, at least not on this scale, so I'm happy to play games with explorations of different other cultures. The gameplay and visuals throughout this also look stunning, and it features many unique mechanics such as Wukong's ability to shapeshift into different animals, people, and even objects, even cloning himself and manipulate his enemies in strange yet fun ways via an assortment of spells. Combat also looks really snappy and fluid, with different stances to switch between, including smash, pillar, and thrust form, each of course providing its own advantages and disadvantages, including speed, range, or power. Being an RPG also leaves room for character customization, gear to grab, and items to upgrade, and it's all in a complete single-player package, which is why I'm so excited for this. No online play, no microtransactions, no live service elements. Plus, boss fights look really interesting and creative, kind of remind me a bit of Sekiro, so definitely looking forward to this. Moving on to number 9, we have Crimson Desert, set to launch late 2024 on PC and current gen consoles. From the same creators as the popular MMO Black Desert Online, this looks like a mashup of that, The Legends of Zelda, Red Dead Redemption, Assassin's Creed, with a bit of splash of The Witcher. It's like they took everything that made those games great and combined them in this very impressive, at least gameplay footage, I will give them that. Now, it seems a bit too ambitious even for a studio like this, however, I think Pearl Abyss might just pull it off just because the heck of it. Now, the story was originally said to be a prequel to that of BDO's and seems to have this whole medieval vibe to it as well. Combat-wise, it looks very familiar to some of the classes already present in BDO, particularly Warrior, as most of the combat seems to be focused around sword and shield gameplay with a dash of ranged bow and arrow combat. But just like in BDO, a massive open world with lots of things to do seems to be a recurring theme. There's horse drifting, there's fishing minigames, puzzles, even skydiving, and also dragons, among many enemies to defeat at one time. Moving on to number 10, finally, last but not least, we have Rise of the Ronin, the upcoming PS5 exclusive action RPG from Team Ninja. Ghost of Tsushima 2 might not launch in 2024, but this looks like it might just make the wait a lot better. The story is also set in the 19th century Edo period during the Boshin War, and you'll get to create your very own character. And being a Ronin means that you're not bound to any loyalties, which is perfect for the choices that you're left to make during the main narrative, be it to side with or against certain characters, which will also affect said story. Unsurprisingly, this game will lean heavily into melee combat, including katanas of course, but also other forms of weaponry, including era-appropriate bayonet kills and firearm combinations to take down enemies, plus many interesting tools like setting up your swords on fire and so on. But most exciting is that this game is fully open world with horses available to ride between locations, fast travel, but also unique glide-like tools that let you appreciate the environments in a whole bunch of different ways. We also have one as a bonus. I'm kinda still getting excited whenever I hear new MMOs getting launched. Well, we have one on our hands called Chrono Oddysey by the Korean developer Pixel. Initially planned to also launch on mobile, that plan was completely scrapped and the devs are now focusing exclusively on the PC and console releases. Gameplay wise, it looks very flashy and the visuals are absolutely incredible, and they should because this is being developed on Unreal Engine 5. It does borrow a bit from Final Fantasy, as in it features a form of job system with 6 different classes in total to choose from, each with their own weapon types and abilities. It sort of reminds me a bit of Dragon Age 2 minus the party system, with a splash of Black Desert Online over there, but on a much more massive scale, I guess, because the world apparently is going to be bigger. And speaking of that, this game will feature a seamless open world with few to no loading screens, multiplayer online boss battles that players can join, as well as a lot more PvE and PvP centric content. As with any MMO, there are multiple factions, however a time travel mechanic seems to also be at play here in shaping the world of Chrono Oddysey. Not much has been said about how that works gameplay wise, however it's been described that the land is filled with dangers and chaos caused by the twisted time and space contradicting timelines. No official release date in the West just yet, however there are rumors that it's likely to enter its early test phase in Korea next year. Anyway, that is pretty much it with the most anticipated RPGs coming out in 2024. Totally let me know down below in the comments which one is your favorite. Thanks so much and I'll see you in the next video.